Hey guys and girls, welcome to your first math tutorial here. We're going to be going through everything from start to finish, everything you're going to need to know for later studies, and it will give you a good base to start learning stuff like linear algebra and all that stuff. So I'm going to go some Speedy Gonzalez style on this and just go through from start to finish. So what we're going to start with is the absolute basics, the different types of numbers we're going to be using. All right, and these numbers are in like arrays basically. So there's a collection of numbers and they have different names, right? So let's start with natural numbers. Okay, these numbers are everything from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, and so on, and so on. So yeah, we have natural numbers, and there are two parts of natural numbers actually. Depends on what you're talking about. There's something called whole numbers, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, and such, and and so on as well. Here, you don't just stop there, all the way up to whatever number you can think of, and then you have something called counting numbers. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you see you don't have the 0 in counting numbers. So they're a little different. Natural numbers are a little different depending on what you're talking about here. So that's a good thing to remember. Then comes something important. We've been talking about these things in our programming tutorials and stuff, but there's something called an integer or integers here. And what are integers? Well, basically they are the same as natural numbers, just that they have the negative side as well. So dot 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 -3, for example, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And the dots are important because it's all the way up to infinity this way and this way as well. So, but yeah, that's our integers. So negative integers and positive integers are a thing as well, which makes you sound really smart. So if you want to impress your teacher, make sure you learn this, all right? Positive integers. And you guessed it. Hell yeah. It's the one. Well, you kind of probably guessed it. 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't include the 0. So you have that there. And some of these things can depend on the teacher, so make sure you know your teacher well, what they think about the 0 and stuff like that. You know, it can depend sometimes between mathematicians. I'm not a mathematician. I don't really care. I just know the basic math, and I want to teach you the basic math. And negative integers as well. We got the dot 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 action, -3, -2, -1, and then end. All right, no 0 here. And then something really, if you want to impress your teacher even more, there's something called non-negative integers. And these things include the 0, but they have the positive part. So it's the same thing as this stuff right here. It's just that we include the 0 as well. So that's a non-negative integer. That's good to know, right? All good. And the next part is even and odd numbers. And there are ways to check if a number is even or odd, and you can make even and odd numbers at your will at any time, right? So 2 times any number here will give you a even number, right? So for example, 2 times 3 equals 6. 2 times 5 equals 10. 2 times 2 times 2 equals 4. So we did 2 times 2 multiplied by 3, 3 multiplied by 2 or whatever, we get 6. Okay, it's an odd number that we're multiplying with 2. So we get an even number. So whatever you do, you'll get a even number, right? But there is something you can do for odd numbers. So you just add a 1 there. And that's the same thing here. 2 multiplied by 3, you get 6 plus 1 will give you an odd number, right? This plus 1, which will give you an odd number, and so on and so on. So that's a good thing to know. This is how you define even and odd numbers, all right? So keep that in mind. And now we just have a little more to do. Now comes the more like a little bit more important complex part here. There's something called rational numbers. I want to go down. I don't know why it's not going down. Okay, here we go. Rational numbers. So what are rational numbers? Well, a rational number is a number that you can write in the format a divided by b, where a, okay, where a and b are integers, okay, and b is not 0. So of course you cannot divide by 0. So make sure you know this, and this is also good for your teacher if you want to impress on him. Just a nice detail to know. B cannot be 0, okay? But you can write any number. Any number that you can write in this format is a rational number, right? So that means we can write any integer, any one of these integers here can be written 4, for example, by 1. This is a rational number, right? 4 by 1 is just 4. Am I correct? I think I'm correct. Anyhow, any number, right? So basically, this gives us all a collection of all the integers and non-negatives and negatives and stuff like that. All kinds of stuff. Even minus 0 is a rational number. So you got 0. I'll just write some examples here. These are examples of rational numbers. And you'll see that a lot of these other numbers are being taken like into this array here. So they're a mix of everything basically. And 2, 4, and such, whatever. So there you have rational numbers, okay? And then you have something called irrational numbers. And what is that? Oh God, irrational. Oh shit. Well, basically, it's just numbers that you cannot write in this format. And since you can write almost any number in this format, this means we only have all the strange numbers in here. Okay? Just all the strange numbers. So for example, like square root of 2, squirt 2, and pi, for example. Okay? And things like that, like really strange numbers that you cannot write in that format. So that's good to know. Irrational numbers right there. And then to end it off, we have something called real numbers. And that is basically a collection of all of this stuff, everything. Collection of irrational numbers, rational numbers, and irrational numbers. And remember that rational numbers is a collection of all the integers and everything as well. So if you just collect these two in here, you have basically all the numbers that you're ever going to use in this, at least in these parts, in these math tutorials here, and most other math. So collection or combination of rational and irrational numbers. So that's a quick intro to just all the types of numbers there are. Next video, we're probably going to be talking about some very, very simple, other calculations and stuff. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.